Hey, guys, a question. How many of you have been here for the panel? So I would understand how much of the intro to do. Can you raise hands who have been for the panel? OK, so a lot. So I will try to be brief. So my name is Daria. I'm business development lead for 0x. And basically, yes, today the topic is the trends of swap in DeFi. Quick question. I know the audience is quite advanced, but like, how many of you have self-custody wallet? Again, raise hands. OK, so decent amount. That's good. I'm in the right place in general. So before talking about swaps specifically, I would like to talk about wallets, because basically wallets kind of are the low-hanging fruit, I would say, for swap kind of infrastructure providers in the way that that every wallet needs a swap. This is how the life is. And the wallet stage right now is the way that there are more than 100 wallets compete for user in DeFi. And this basically means that wallet wars are coming. So if it's not happening right now, because actually I think it has started already, you will see like MetaMask competing versus, for example, Coinbase versus Trust Wallet versus Uniswap, or like Phantom. And at the same time, you see like externally owned account wallets, like I just mentioned before, starting to compete with smart contract wallets that will allow to recover your seed phrase as one of the use cases. Overall, so we are in the interesting time for the wallets. And as I mentioned, basically each wallet needs a swap. Swap is the heart of the wallet because it provides its monetization strategy for many, many wallets. Now, you are here to hear about 3 trends in swap. And I will tell you about those in about like 5 minutes. But before, like why you should actually listen to me and why does it make sense to like know about swaps as well. So about 0x, a little bit more deep dive than it was on the panel. 0x has been around since 2017, and the mission of the 0x is like really big, and what attracted me first in the company is to create a tokenized vault where all the value can flow freely. So where you can exchange tokens to, say, tokenized securities, everything on 0x protocol, one day maybe. And the founding team is very well known in DeFi space because, for example, like our founders helped to establish NFT standard, ERC 721, have to helped with wrapped ETH implementation, and basically very well known in DEX Vault because like it's one of the oldest projects who survived through a lot. And we are also well backed. Last year, we raised $70 million from firms such as Coinbase Ventures, Jump, Pantera, and Greylock. This is very briefly about us. And of course, we just don't raise money from reputable firms. We also work with many players in the crypto industry, Coinbase, Polygon, Robinhood, MetaMask, DYDX, and of course, like DeFi Saver, that all of you by now should like know and like love overall. And more than generally 50 apps right now are in our ecosystem, and this is just the apps that we know about. In reality, there are many, many more. Now, the protocol itself and the APIs has processed more than 125 billion volume, more than 50 million transactions, and we parse liquidity with, from more than 100 sources, and we support 8 chains with 9th coming pretty soon with Base. So the chains for which we parse liquidity include ETH, Arbitrum, BNB, Avalanche, Polygon, Phantom, Optimism, and Cello. And the idea is that you can't get the best swap rates just from Uniswap, even though a lot of people still believe that, trust me. But the idea is to parse the liquidity from different DEXs and give you the best like price, lowest gas fees, and ideally low slippage as well. So all of this is about like swap API. The basic swap API works in a way that there are two types of liquidity sources where we get the liquidity from. The first one is basically IMMs, so Uniswaps, Sushi swaps of the world. And second part is private market makers. So more like trading firms who can potentially also source from centralized sources. And these two liquidity sources, when they provide the quote, when user asks for it, and they compete between each other to get the best price and lowest gas fees. And based on this, we give you the best rate, and then if you like it, you either swap or not. This is like very, very basic. Okay, and about 0x again, we don't have only swap API. We provide the whole suite of APIs. Right now, 2 are available, and like 3 more are coming pretty soon, including like transaction history API, order book, and token registry. Also, API will be including the data on swap as well, not just different exchange of value. And of course, like we're also well known in the industry for Match XYZ, which is our front end, and there you can try out all of our tech and basically see how 0x API works in general. And we recently launched a new version of it, so it's pretty cool, especially UX-wise, so please come and try it out, and you can give me feedback, even bad one. I won't be offended if you don't like it, but we got lots of positive feedback, so I'm calm on this side. Now, about trends, because this is basically the topic. 3 things, and like one bonus one. The first one. We know that UX in DeFi is known to be bad, but in reality, it has been improving quite a lot for wallets and swaps as well. And one of these improvements is like gasless swaps. Second part is MEV awareness. So it's becoming really strong, and there are different ways of how you can look on MEV, but it's not something that people ignore anymore. The third trend is cross-chain. Solutions are being adopted. It's still not on the DEX aggregation level, let's put it this way. The numbers are still quite small, even though people use bridges a lot, but for like cross-chain aggregation, it's still like pretty low volumes. But there is a demand for it, so people are actively building, and I'm being pinged for maybe at least once a week by some new cross-chain solution, which is pretty cool. And the final part is like enterprise and institutional players are showing a lot of interest in DeFi. So this is something that I think we should all keep in mind when we're building, because we a little bit used to have our kind of cozy market with builders, but big names are coming into the industry, and they might change the scale and how we operate as well, and we should be prepared for it. I will deep dive now into each of the trends a little bit. So first, transaction relay or gasless API. Basically, same old swaps, but you don't need to hold native token in the wallet. For me, for example, it's very big friction point when I swap, especially on ETH, because I keep forgetting to top up my ETH. Because of this, I need to either ask some friends or go to centralized exchange, and this like stops my transactions quite often, to be frank. With the transaction relay API, gas fees are being wrapped into quote. This is one way, or wallet or like the app can actually sponsor these gas fees for the user. Think about it as like account abstraction right now is hot topic for like gasless stuff. So this is like very baby account abstraction stuff in a way that it's not account abstraction at all, because it's like not wallet, it's swaps, but it allows to give you the same effect. So you can swap gaslessly, which is like pretty cool because it's already live now, and you don't need to bother about like smart contract risks in general. Second part, that I really like is gasless approvals, because it's available for, I think, 100 or maybe a bit more tokens right now on ETH and Polygon, but with it, it makes your transactions just very smooth, because you just click, 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 and basically you don't need to think about gas fees for the token that you need to swap. It simplifies your life quite a lot in general, at least mine. Okay, so. And how transaction relay works, in general, there are 3 components behind it. First of all, it's meta transactions, which allow to send messages that authorize smart contracts to perform actions on your behalf. Second part is EIP 712, which makes messages human readable, and the last part is gasless approvals. And because of limitations with gasless approvals, it's only 100 or so tokens right now. But overall, it's pretty straightforward and ready to implement. Second part, MEV awareness. So there are different approaches to MEV. One way is basically just to avoid it, and this is, or try to protect user from it. This is the path that we took about a year ago when we introduced slippage protection for Swap API. And basically the idea is that we look into a bunch of data, and 0x has been around for years now, so we have lots of data, and we see which DEXs on which DEXs users were attacked the most, where was the highest MEV. And basically, when we route, we take into account this data, and we optimize not just for quotes that DEX give us, we optimize for execution that we saw in the past. And each new transaction feeds us new data, so our routing gets better and better for execution specifically. And this also includes different MEV attacks. Second approach, overall, is slightly different, because we know MEV is there. It's not going anywhere. So what we've seen some people introducing, for example, Rook as a project, is basically MEV capturing and sharing back with the user. So this is another trend. It's not on slides, but it's definitely something that is a hot topic between devs right now. Now, talking about trends 3 and 4, cross-chain solutions. The big history with cross-chain is security, I would say. DEX aggregation, either us or competition, have a lot of trust, have a lot of volumes, and were battle-tested. Lots of cross-chain folks are not battle-tested yet. And a lot of clients I'm talking right now, they're asking for cross-chain swaps. So in the future, it's definitely a feature that it is demanded and it will be introduced. And at the same time, it's not just on the demand side, on the supplier side, you see tons of cross-chain solutions that are being built. And I guess the problem with us right now is that we haven't found ideal one that would work for us, so we might end up building one ourselves, but we'll see again how big the demand for it is. But we're definitely keeping the hand on the pulse here. And for big players, I keep hearing the opinion from them that basically centralized exchange is still the best bridge for them. So somebody like Binance, because if you need to exchange millions of dollars or billions, you don't want to lock them in some bridge. At least they don't want to do it. And finally, speaking about enterprise and institutional demand, the opinion right now that people are very interested in DeFi here because it's basically bear market, and they're actually building right now to be prepared for the bull. So it's strange for me even to say it, but it's very builder mentality in that way, because we are also building now to be prepared for the bull in a way. And because everybody knows that bear is the best time to build. Institutionals and enterprise are the same. And they are The success rate and like launch rate, from what I've seen, is honestly much lower than in DeFi for many reasons. But even a couple of big guys, if they're coming and delivering, and for sure there will be a few, they can change the landscape quite a lot. So the whole takeaway of this talk, like DeFi is like generally here to stay. Swaps are changing like together with DeFi. UX is changing, technology is improving a little bit, and how we operate also changed. So let's just keep building and have fun with it.